Hi, everyone. I'm Frank Mallicoat, anchor reporter for KTVU Fox 2 here in the San Francisco Bay Area. My guest is an executive leadership coach, a relationship coach, and a best selling author. And he's here to talk about reentry in the post pandemic world. Let's say hello to Dr. Wayne Pernell, but we know him as Dr. P, a local guy right here in the Bay Area. Doctor, good to have you with us.
It's so great to be back again, Frank. Nice to see you.
You as well. I know we're all excited about what lies ahead, but for some, there's some anxiety, a little bit of angst because things have changed a lot and we really don't know what lies ahead. Can you quell some of that fear a little bit?
We don't know what lies ahead. The good news is we know what we've been through. And if you think about it, you've survived 100% of the hard experiences you've had up to this point, which it's really a tribute to your resilience, and if you think about, you've been resilient for the past year plus. We've all had to bounce for the past year plus. We've all had to step into this place of courage. Like, if you were told 2 years ago, hey, there's going to be a period of time more than a year that every day you're going to wake up and not know what's coming, can you do that? People would go, pardon? But we did, and that's courage. And so to recognize that, we may not know exactly what the future looks like, we're all getting our footing. And I think just relying on your knowledge that you've figured it out up to this point, you're gonna be okay.
There is strength in numbers. We talked off camera about this a little bit, but
Yeah.
sometimes you just feel so isolated, like, man, I'm the only one having these feelings. I'm anxious. I'm the only one. Oh my God, I got to go back to work. How do I react? Social settings, all that kind of thing. But I think we have to remember everyone's in the same boat.
Yeah, I saw a great meme recently, and it redefines that. We're all in the same storm, but we're all in different boats. And so we all weather it differently, and I think that that's a good thing to remember, that we are all experiencing this thing. It is a pandemic, which means it's around the world. It is not political. It's not one side or the other in America is doing this or that to you. It's a pandemic. It's around the world. And yet we each do take it personally. And I think that that's important to remember, that two things. One, your experience is your experience. And two, no one is doing this to you. So given that your experience is your experience, the strength that you can draw on is that you have choice. You have choice no matter what the experience is. You have a choice of how you greet it, right? That um, restaurants are opening a little bit. Awesome. Do you choose to go? Do you choose to have takeout, or do you choose to wait that bit longer? That's just one example. You have choice, and there's power in that.
And we're all a little bit different now, too.
Yes.
I mean, there's been some growth, some good, some maybe not so good, but we're going to get out on the other end of this and maybe be a little bit different and see things differently as well.
It's very true. We each grow every single day. Our experiences change us. And I mean, you can look back the last 5 or 10 years. If you look back at 10 years ago, you go, well, of course I've changed. And if you look at yourself from yesterday, you may or may not have seen that growth. Recognize that other people are growing as well. And so as you come back together, one of the strongest things you can do is to ask, like, hey, what have you been working on? What's new? Did you learn any new recipes? How did you organize your pantry? The small stuff counts. That's the friendly stuff. That's where you can re-engage in a way that you find commonality one more time. And I think that that's really important. You find that commonality, the with others in that way.
If change is so good, why do we avoid it so much? Why are we afraid of change?
Yeah, this is a great question, and it's completely in my in my zone of expertise, right? Around mindset and breakthrough coaching. We want change. We human creatures actually crave novelty. And at the same time, we struggle to hang on to what we knew. What we know is part of our identity. And if we change from what we know, that's not quote unquote safe, right? There's this little safety need we have, and we slide back into who we were. We slide back into the doing things the way we've always done them, even though logically we know we shouldn't be doing that, or we don't need to be doing that.
Wow.
So growth is a process, it is a choice, and change is inevitable. How you embrace it is totally up to you. And I say, embrace it with eyes wide open, right? You are stronger than you thought. The last year has taught you that. So you know you've changed. What do you want to, like, be deliberate about it? What do you want to grow into in the future? Who do you want to become? And what steps do you want to take now to become that person of tomorrow?
Yeah. I imagine a lot of people have had an epiphany through this. Some have pivoted their businesses, some have changed their financial wherewithal, others have changed their vocations. It really has, in a weird way, made us change completely.
Yes. Yes, we're right. And it goes back to we have taken on new strengths that we didn't even know we needed. And so now the choice is, who do I want to be? It comes back to that. Like, I've proven that I'm strong. Ta-da. Right. And that's, we can all say that. I've proven I've gotten through. We've all known someone that we've lost, right? We all know somebody who's lost somebody.
Mm.
So in this past year, we all know, if it wasn't personal, if it wasn't in your own family, we all know somebody who has actually lost somebody. And so we've all come through some hard times. Well, given that, where are you now? Take an inventory of who you are and where you are, and what blessings do you actually have? Start a little gratitude list. What can you look around your life and go, you know what? If I paused my life right now, I'm good. And if I unpause it, here's where I'm dissatisfied and where I want to be. Be deliberate about that.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be? And what steps do you need to take now to become that person? What values do you need to take on to live into being that person? That's really some amazing work. And that's where, my clients get the biggest leverage into the next great phase of their lives.
I feel like I'm having therapy here. I love it.
It's laser
I'm
coaching.
applying this all to my life and
Please
watching.
do.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, Frank, this is, that's the human condition. And it's so important to realize, that when you have choice, you have power. And so to recognize that your personal power lies in your ability to say, I choose the next step of my life. I choose who I want to become, and I choose to collect the resources I need to become that person. Now, it may take longer than you want. That's okay. As long as you're on that path, keep going. That's really, like, that's so important. As long as you're on that path of, this is who I want to become, keep going.
Keep trucking.
Yeah.
I shared this story with you prior to recording, but I was at the Phoenix airport. We got off a Southwest flight. The airport was a madhouse. That place is crowded times 10. And I got to tell you, crowds never bugged me. But now with the pandemic, fading away, some had masks, some didn't. I actually felt a little uncomfortable. And I think that's probably a good thing.
It is a good
It's a new
thing.
thing for me.
Yeah, we are in a place of protecting ourselves very differently, and I think that's going to affect the way we reintegrate into the workplace. And I just ran a retreat for my VIPs, and we were all in St. Louis. And one of the questions on my questionnaire was, have you been vaccinated? Have you been exposed? Have you, right? So we're keeping it safe. 100% of the people in the room were vaccinated, and we each took off our masks, like, this is weird. We're allowed to meet. And by the way, I did this in a giant ballroom. So we had 12 people in a ballroom, which means that the tables were were we were separated by 6 feet of space.
Sure.
So we were still socially distant. Still, like it's going to be weird
Mhm.
whether you're masking up and around crowds, or masking up and not around crowds, or unmasking and in the what the CDC allows for a nice social interaction of anyone who's vaccinated. It feels weird to be masked. It feels weird to be unmasked. Your job, I think each of us has the job of going, this is normal. What I'm feeling is normal and I'm safe, right? It's that, like, do what you need to stay safe, and recognize that as we step back into engaging in person, that is the new normal, right? We're gonna figure it out day by day.
Yeah, it's going to be odd to be in a social setting with no mask and
it,
not a
it is.
little voice in the back of your head saying, "What are you doing? Come on, put a mask."
Exactly, exactly, right? So explore that and allow the little voice and listen to your intuition. If someone is showing up and you're not sure if they've been vaccinated or not, then even if you have, right? I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not going to say, do this or don't do that, but pay attention to what the CDC is saying, and keep yourself safe. That's part of your own psychology. That's part of your psychic strength, is to feel safe personally.
It's okay to be rusty on your social skills because a lot of us haven't been in a work environment. I mean, I go in a couple days a week, but there's three people there. I don't
Yeah.
see them. I hear them. Um, restaurants, that kind of thing. It might take a while to kind of feel your oats a little bit, mask or no mask.
Well, I think, I mean, one of the things that's happened for us is that we feel this sense of fatigue, like really, really strong fatigue right now. And there's a word called anhedonia, which means the inability to feel joy. And when you're staring at the same four walls every day, you're like feeling dragged down. You're dragged down and you're dragged down. And so it's really important to get out. It's really important to get outside and give your eyes a different focus. It's really important to breathe fresh air. And as we re-engage socially, that's going to be like riding a bicycle. I mean, it's going to feel odd. Like, are we safe? Is it okay? All that stuff. Are you okay if I bump your elbow, or should we shake hands? And if we shake hands, do we use alcohol gel right away? You're going to work out your own dance around that. And then there's going to be a period of relaxation where you're like, I'm good with this person. I'm good with this group. So I think you'll be able to step back in just easily, really easily, once you figure out what the working agreements are. The same way that you would work with any group. What do we all agree to? Well, we all agree that we'll keep our social distance, or we all agree that since we're vaccinated, we can actually hug. Like, that's okay, or shake hands, and keep the alcohol gel handy.
Yeah, yeah, those sales will stay up, I'm sure. Um,
Indeed.
Finally, let's talk about kids. What should parents tell their children who are re-engaging in school, some of which may have never stepped foot, in high school or college, they're freshmen. Um, I imagine there's a lot of angst there, and it's. I mean, we have bad days as adults, but kids have bad days too.
Yes. Well, with younger kids, remember that younger kids are the barometers for what's going on in the family. So if, as a parent, you're very anxious about sending your child off to school, your child is going to be the reflection of that tension. So relax. If you're not ready to do it, then don't do it. But I'm going to say, do your research so that you are ready. Do the research with the school, about the protocols, so that you are ready. With older kids and teenagers, preteens and teenagers, I mean, they're a different animal anyway, right? They're going through all their own stuff. And so to mix that with uh, with social norms and what's okay, and then the pressures of the school, the academics. The biggest thing you can do, the best thing you can do is have a conversation. Just like, hey, what do you need? These are, acknowledge the journey, acknowledge where they are. These are tough times for anybody. How are you doing? And don't baby your kids, treat them like humans. And you don't have to treat them like adults, but if they're pre-adolescent to adolescent, they're pretty darn close anyway. Just ask, like, model for them the engagement that you want. So how are you doing? I did that with my kids all the way through. My kids are now adults, and they still will reach out to me because of how we were engaging when they were kids. So I think it's really important, establish that. What bridge of communication do you want with them now?
Yeah.
And
And it gets back
establish that now.
to that whole safety idea with anxiety. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're just, you fear you're not safe, but if your parents are eliciting this, you're okay feeling, you're probably going to be all
That's the thing, by the way, Frank, is that each of us can do that for the others, right? That for anybody, that if it's up to us, it's up to our viewers to step forward and go, we're going to be okay. In fact, we're already okay. That if we step into the world with that, there's a lot of stuff that is not okay in the world. And if we step in and go, we are okay, and we'll call out the injustices, absolutely. And is this COVID scary, invisible virus and injustice? Absolutely. And as a human, as a singular person, I'm okay, and I'm going to carry the banner of okayness, right? Even, like, I'm going to thrive, and I'm going to show you how to do it. And that's so important, to be the model for other people.
well, Dr. Pernell, I know you've written a few books. We see them behind your right shoulder. Tell us about those. How people can get in touch with you if they'd like more information.
Thank you. Yes, those are three of the five books I've got out there now. I'm an international #1 best-selling author, and so, right, Choosing Your Power was my baby. It's the one I wrote about 8 years ago. It's about really stepping in and owning your space. It's how to communicate, how to engage in a relationship, and how to be who you deserve to be at home and in the world. The middle one is called The Significance Factor, and it's about how to move from success to true significance and redefining what success is for you. And the third one over here is called Dynamic Transitions, and it's really about it answers the question, who am I if I'm not fill in the blank? We're all in transition, financially, career wise, relationship wise, spiritually, even. Who am I next? Who am I now? And it really puts you back in touch with your values. And it's an amazing journey. You can reach me. I have a contact form on my website. You can look for these books and other courses also on my website, waynepernell.com, waynepernell.com.
We're all evolving, aren't we, Doctor?
Let's hope so.
Yeah,
If you
in a good
right,
way.
if you're not changing and adapting, you are in atrophy and going to be withering up, and the other direction is just not pretty. So yes, grow, change, evolve, and embrace that.
Awesome. That's Dr. Wayne Pernell. Thank you so much for your insight, sir.
Oh, Frank, it's so good to be back. So good to see you.
Good to have you. If you'd like more information, you can go to newsnowfox.com. I'm Frank Mallicoat. Have a great day, everybody.